right, life's a game I wanna play. I've been staying up too late. Might be strange, I swear I dream the most when I'm awake. Found out paradise was paid, and to go and pump the brakes. But I'm still chasing, that's not changing. If you think it is, just wait.
Up all night, I'm taking the night vibes. I'll make it on the fly. It's lasting all night time, yeah. One shot with my man, it's a one shot tonight. Someday I'll live up my life and taking my night vibes, yeah. Up all night, I'm taking the night vibes. I'll make it on the fly. It's lasting all night time, yeah. One shot with my man, it's a one shot tonight. Someday I'll live up my life and taking my night vibes. Up all night, I'm taking the night vibes. I'll make it on the fly. It's lasting all night time, yeah. One shot with my man, it's a one shot tonight. Someday I'll live up my life and taking my night vibes, yeah. Taking the night vibes, I'll make it on the fly. It's lasting all night time, yeah. One shot with my man, it's a one.
All right, what's up, shipheads? Live from the greatest city in the world, Cleveland, Ohio, where the Browns will play the former Browns, the Ravens, tonight at 8:15 on ESPN. I will be going to the game. I am joined by the legend himself, Cleveland.com reporter. Everybody loves his takes. Everybody loves his predictions on the Browns. He's also a badass singer on TikTok and Spotify and everywhere you can find him. I think he's a modern Frank Sinatra, Michael Bublé. This is the longest sentence of all time. Hayden Grove, he's the co-host for today because Zach Dubs is out. Hayden, thanks for joining. How are you today?
I'm good. I didn't expect to be a co-host today, but, here we are. So I'm glad to just help out and be a guest.
Well, you're you're definitely a favorite of the show, and I'm going to be honest with you, didn't know you'd be a co-host until about 5 minutes ago. So, Zach,
I don't think either of us did.
Yeah, no, we were kind of just thrown for a loop right there. But yeah, Zach has to deal with kind of a family emergency. So,
oh no.
I guess before we go into the Browns game today that I am going to be at in, I don't know how, but I'm going to be there in 2 hours. And I'm going to dress up as Waldo. Yeah, so that'd be cool. Let's talk about the Steelers.
Now, are they going to make?
What's that?
Okay. I was going to say, are you going to try to get to ESPN to find where's Waldo?
100%.
That's the plan.
100%.
Okay.
And I'm such a hypocrite too. Such a hypocrite because I put out a tweet last night right after Eric Ebron like dapped up Josh Allen during his post-game interview, and I was like, this dude always wants to make it about himself. And here I am going to a Browns game, dressing up as Waldo so that people can see me. So yeah, I deleted that tweet because that just wasn't. Yeah, I was like, it's not a good look. But the game last night, Steelers Bills. I think a lot of us were thought that the Bills were going to win. I'm assuming you watched the game. What were your thoughts on that, and I guess kind of expectations going forward for the AFC North?
So I actually didn't watch the entirety of the game. To be honest with you, I watched I think the first half and a little bit of the second half.
Thank you for being honest. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't lie to the people.
No.
So I kind of turned it off, and not because I was just tired. So, but I will say that it's a huge deal for the Browns to be in this position, and it's a huge deal for them tonight because Pittsburgh losing last night. I mean, that kicks open the door for the Browns. I mean that gives them an opportunity here to play a very, 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 very meaningful game against the Steelers on January 3rd. So. I think the Browns can catch them. I do. I think the Browns can catch them. I think the Steelers have kind of shown that, offensively, especially, that they've taken some steps back. People have kind of figured out to guard to guard Chase Claypool, who was dominant there for a while. Big Ben is, still very, very, very good. I still have a ton of respect for him, but that offense just doesn't do it for me anymore. And that defense has, definitely has some injuries, Bud Dupree being out, and you still, you really like what you see from TJ Watt and Cam Hayward and that defensive line, but it definitely is not the team that it was to start the season.
Yeah, and to bring up your Chase Claypool point, I saw a stat. You can call it a stat, I guess. Chase Claypool has made 51 TikToks this season, and he has 50 receptions. Now, granted, he has, 10 touchdowns, which is, nuts for a rookie, especially one that was drafted, was he in the second round? Yeah, second round.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was kind of funny. I would point more towards, Juju Smith-Schuster. I know a lot of the Bills players came out, Josh Allen. Jordan Poyer used to play for the Browns, and they said they were fired up. It got them fired up seeing Juju, who does this every game, but he
Jordan Poyer
danced down the logo.
Jordan
Man, what do you think about that?
That's what I was going to bring up. First of all, Jordan Poyer certainly did play for the Browns. I think a lot of Browns fans remember Jordan Poyer. He was certainly not the player that he is today. He's probably one of the best in the league.
Right.
But the dancing on the logo, I mean, I actually find it weird. I don't think the Steelers are I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster is hateable. I don't think Chase Claypool is hateable. So it's kind of weird that you hate him.
I hate Juju. I like Chase Claypool.
I don't mind Juju. I don't see the problem with Juju. He seems like a kind of affable, loving, fun-loving guy. But you can't do that. What he did last night, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't motivate another team like that. That totally got into that locker room, and they were like, "Oh, he did what?" And then you set yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
So I don't love what he did, but good for the Bills. Josh Allen was saying, it's about the work. It's not about dancing. It's not about putting it on TikTok. It's about going out and getting the job done. And certainly they've done that, and Josh Allen especially has done that. I mean, 28 TDs, 9 interceptions this year. He's been great. Damn,
man, you're a walking almanac over here. I need to memorize stats like you do, but I guess that's why they pay you the big bucks.
Okay, so. There's a reason I know my Josh Allen stats is because I'm always ready. After I don't know if you were around, you were around obviously, but you weren't certainly as big as you are today. When Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, that draft, I got absolutely I got absolutely
Oh shit,
killed.
I texted you instead of Tyler. That's on me. Can
did.
you minimize the block on his screen? He read my text because I sent it to him, and he's like,
and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I messed it up. That's my bad. That's what I do. That's what I do. We just go with it here.
But I have to remember my Josh Allen takes or tweet or my Josh Allen stats because people killed me, and killed Mary Kay because we loved Josh Allen.
I remember that
Josh Allen should have been the Browns pick, and we got beat up by people all over Twitter and even in our own company. So every chance we get, we're like, we especially me, I like to just poke the bear. Look at what Josh Allen's doing. 28 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. They're 10-3. Oh, he could have. I thought he was the most inaccurate quarterback ever to come out of college. So I always got to be ready with my Josh Allen stats for sure.
It's kind of funny though because he, I saw something else, another segment. I mean, and it like gave me like this epiphany. Josh Allen has played better. Like him and Patrick Mahomes have played better against better competition. He was better in college than he was in high school. He put up better stats in the NFL than he did in college. So just kind of, I mean, I was definitely not that high on Josh Allen. I loved his arm strength and everything, but I thought he was very inaccurate. And for me, I think Baker is such a great fit here. And I know that's not what you're saying, that like you don't like whatever Baker.
No,
stuff.
yeah.
And that's what people like. I don't know. People always get that mixed up. It's like, oh, you like Josh Allen, you don't like Baker Mayfield. No, that's not how it works.
No.
But I think what
true.
Baker brings is his charisma and his swagger. And I think for a town that has been losing, other than 2007 for 21 straight seasons, you need somebody like Baker Mayfield to have that confidence to come in and like vocal confidence as well. And like he just kind of, I know Josh Allen, I'm sure does that, but I love what Baker does. And I mean, I was at the Jets game in 2018, and I know you were too,
Yep.
right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, because I remember you had
absolutely.
like a viral post about like the crowd that was walking after the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was correct. I mean, I just remembered, I remember everything. It was the most incredible. I think the funniest part about that night was just waiting for that darn Bud Light fridge to open. We were all sitting there with our cameras waiting for it to open.
Yeah.
And it was the most anticlimactic thing. It was like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
it was fun though. But yeah, that game was crazy. And fans, I mean, I think you're right. I think the thing that I love about Baker is that, I think this year he's definitely kind of put aside some of that, like, he's kind of focused away from the media and what they're saying, and I think that's huge. But also, I love, like you said, his moxie, his character, his leadership, his energy. I think the Browns feed off that. And not that he's the greatest quarterback in the game, but he does what he needs to do and when he needs to do it. Like that Cincinnati game, they needed him to throw 5 touchdowns, so that's exactly what he did. The Titans game, they needed him to play well. He's played well. I mean, we'll see what happens tonight, but I think he's just getting more and more comfortable in this offense. I think his accuracy is getting better and better. And I think, the fact that he's being coached by really confident and really just good coaches is certainly helping him develop better footwork, better mechanics, better arm strength, better reads. I think that's the one thing he's been so much better this year is where to go with the football and not turning it over. 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That will work every day of the week.
Yeah, who's more interceptions thrown this year than Baker Mayfield? I guess a lot of people, but Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger, I think, has 9 interceptions, 10 interceptions on the season. I mean, he's taking care of the ball this year. And he's like, the past few weeks, he's the most efficient quarterback in the NFL above Aaron Rodgers, who's probably going to win the MVP, either him or Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Rodgers and Mahomes are second and third. And Baker Mayfield in the past few weeks is number 1. And that's what you want to see as a Browns quarterback. Like we're not mathematically eliminated right now. So that's like an amazing thing. But to have somebody, especially a quarterback, with all this momentum, I mean, he's not like, sure, he's not going to be the MVP. Do I think he'd be the MVP eventually? Sure, but I mean he's got a ways to go. But he's playing his best football later in the season, and I mean as a Browns fan, that's really all you can ask for. And having the number 1 rushing attack in the NFL, combine that with efficient quarterback play. Yes, the secondary is injured, young, depleted, but we have enough offensive power. We got enough things to kind of make it work right now.
You just said it. Efficient quarterback play. He doesn't need to be a world beater.
Right.
I don't think, again, at this stage in his development, I'm not saying that down the road, this is what I don't understand, is that I see people on Twitter just killing Baker. Baker's not the franchise, not the franchise. How do you know? How could you possibly know that he's not the franchise?
Can we pull that stat up?
I'm not.
Yeah, that's a good time. We got a stat.
How could you? There you go. How could you possibly know that he's not the franchise? He's been here for 3 years. He's worked under 4 different head coaches. He's had 3 different offensive coordinators. He's had a lot of turnover. He's had a lot of infused talent in there. And he's only getting better. His stats are getting better. His numbers are getting better. You just watch him. The eye test is getting better. Yeah, I mean, there are games and throws where you think, man, that's not what you want to see from your franchise quarterback. But also, there are a lot of throws that he does make that you're like, okay, this guy might have it. So I think it's much more in the Baker is the franchise quarterback than not. But I don't think you can definitely make a determination on that, and they should absolutely pick up his option and see what happens.
I completely agree with that. Even if Baker's stats were like average right now or below average. The fact that he's still our starting quarterback and we've had 29 other ones since 1999 and he's lasted this long is enough to warrant for me to pick up his option. So we have a stat here based on kind of what you were talking about, how he's efficient and he's, the eye test and everything. So Baker Mayfield in CBS Sports HQ put this out. And it's on the screen, but Hayden, you can't see it. Baker Mayfield versus Tom Brady.
Okay.
First 41 career starts. We'll go with Mayfield first. We'll go with Brady first. Brady has pass yards.
I posted this stat, but yeah, go ahead.
Did they steal it?
They might have, but no,
Probably.
I don't care. It's fine. I mean, it's just a stat.
Yeah, but they stole
It's not
the idea.
nobody's
from
stealing.
You.
Nobody's stealing stats. They're stats.
They stole your exact stat then. All right. Well, anyway.
No, I mean I don't.
We're gonna call them.
I think mine was through 40 games, so I don't think I added the 41st.
Yeah, that's where they got you, man. That's where they got you.
They got me there. They got me on the
They got you last week. Okay, so pass yards, Mayfield 97-93, Brady 92-12. TD to interception, Mayfield 70-42, Brady 59-36. Completion percentage 61.6 Baker, 61.8 Brady. Unbelievable. Bench him. And Mayfield passer rating of 88.6, Brady 84.9. So I don't know. I mean, it's funny because a lot of people are very impatient. Most people are pretty impatient. Our entire society is right now. You have coaches that are,
Sure.
they have to win in the first 2 years or they're gone. Players, they're a bust if they don't do something their rookie year. I mean, quarterback like Breeze, Wilson, Favre, people that are comparable to Baker, at least in size, they had so much time to develop. Brady, I mean, could you imagine if Mayfield put up Tom Brady stats? There's people would be killing him, and he's doing very well, especially for a Cleveland Browns quarterback, and that's what kind of pissed me off. Like I was scared. I was like, yeah, he needs to play better because he's not playing that well. And now, I mean, he hasn't thrown a pick in 150 passes. I mean, he's playing well, and as we have both touched on, has been super efficient.
Yeah, and I think what you have to look at too is that, like, I think Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield, again, I'm not calling Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield comparable. Tom Brady has 5 Super Bowl rings. He's the greatest of all time. But I'm saying that, like, when you look at what Tom Brady was asked to do in those first couple of years with the Patriots, it's kind of the same. He wasn't asked to put the team on his shoulders. He wasn't asked to be the franchise. He was asked to go in there and do a good enough job to let that defense win them. Their defense was phenomenal in New England, and they had a great coach and they had a good running game. And that's all they needed. They didn't need Tom Brady to be that guy until he became that guy, when he developed into that guy, when he had the reps, when he, developed and got better. I mean, Tom Brady was a nobody out of Michigan and came in and had a really, really good run for the Patriots. But after that first Super Bowl year, I mean, he took time to develop. He wasn't perfect. So I think you're exactly right when you say patience is something that Browns fans just do not have. For God knows what reason. Maybe it's because they've lost, so many games and so many, 36-1. I don't think anybody's going to be super patient after that. But
no,
I mean, in terms of a quarterback, you haven't had a legit quarterback since Tim Couch. Like, you haven't had a legit quarterback to develop since Tim Couch. And we're just sitting here saying, well, Baker doesn't have it after 2.5 years. I mean, come on.
When he clearly has it. I mean, he has it. That's what's funny. So, all right. So
yeah, he just hasn't shown it all the time. Right.
No, right. But that's. I mean, I don't know who else is going to show that with 4 coaches in 3 years. Like, all these systems he has to learn. You need some damn stability, people. Like, I mean, I hate all these. I mean, I hate all these armchair quarterbacks, and I hate these people like Brandon Marshall. Colin Coward's okay now. I kind of like him, but Stephen A. Smith. People that
now he's okay. Now he's okay because he's on the Browns.
Yeah.
He's good with the Browns now.
Yeah, he's good. He's good
okay.
now. Yeah, he's good.
Okay, good.
And he's shit on the Steelers, which I like. I always like a good Steelers roast. So he's. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. It's a
you're the king. You're the king of the roast.
Yeah.
You're the king of the roast.
I don't know about that, but thank you. I appreciate that. So speaking of the Steelers, speaking of them, they have. I mean, we were talking about because Steelers would probably have to lose. They would have to lose 2 more games, and the Browns would have to win out. So I mean,
pretty
for
much.
them to more or less, maybe lose 1 game. So
yeah.
So the Browns obviously they play the Ravens tonight. They're at the Giants on Sunday. They're at the Jets next week. And Browns Steelers play at home in Cleveland, week 17. The Steelers, they're at the Bengals versus the Colts, and then at the Browns. So I mean, I think they're gonna. I mean, God, I pray the Bengals beat the Steelers. That would be electric. But they're probably gonna win that game. I don't know about that Colts game. It's in Heinz Field, but that Colts team just destroyed a decent Raider, who I thought was a decent Raiders team who beat us, and we beat the Colts. I think that Colts team is dangerous. What do you think about that Week 16? Who do you have between Steelers Colts?
Yeah, I mean, you know what's funny is that, like, you look at that Colts defense and they're good. I mean, on paper they just don't scare you that much. But when you actually play the game, you realize they're pretty tough. And Philly Rivers is going to, give you a game no matter what. So I like Pittsburgh in that game. I think it's a home game for Pittsburgh.
It is.
And that helps certainly, to be on your home field. But it's close. I could go either way. And maybe this is just the Steelers kind of, being in a kind of a rut here, and maybe they don't play well against Cincinnati, and maybe, that game against Indianapolis kind of furthers them in the – I don't know. I don't know enough about, what's going on inside their locker room, how they're feeling, all that kind of stuff. I mean, certainly 2 losses in a row is not good, but you're coming off of 11 straight wins as well. So, I mean, I think that Week 17 game is – that Week 17 game is going to be absolutely huge, and I think everybody's like, oh, well, they're not going to let Big Ben is absolutely going to play. They're going to have all their starters playing because that game is going to mean something. That game is absolutely going to mean something.
Even if it doesn't come down to the division, like the Browns tie the division and the Steelers get the tiebreak, or they lose it by a game or whatever, that is going to be a monumental game, I think, for both teams heading into the playoffs. I think especially the Browns. The Steelers have proven they're an elite franchise, and they can build on consistency. The Browns haven't gone there yet. So I think it'd be a statement win. I mean, tonight would be a statement win too against the Baltimore Ravens. So we'll see. I mean, because they would have the tiebreaker, I believe, the Steelers, I think, based on divisional record. But the Browns, they can win tonight. They can beat. I mean, the Giants, I think, is the trap game. I mean, because I think a lot of people look at that record.
Think so?
They look at that record and they're like, they're not that good. They're a very good team. They were 0-5, and they're 5-2, 6-2 since then. Did they play already? Did they play this week?
They played yesterday, and they lost to the Cardinals. Is that so? Yeah.
26-7. Yikes!
I mean,
yikes.
You know what's funny though is that I think them being on Sunday night actually makes it not a trap game. I think if it was a 1 o'clock on a Sunday, I think the Browns could come out sleepwalking. I think now that it's an 8 o'clock Sunday night, like primetime game, I don't think Baker sleepwalks in those. I don't think he's ever had a problem with, playing up for a Sunday night game. So for that reason, I'm going to say that's not a trap game.
Doesn't he have a good primetime record?
I think I don't know if it's a good primetime record, but I think, just because last year, they lost to the Rams, they beat the Jets, they beat the Bengals this year, they lost to the Rams last year. What other primetime games did they have last year? I don't.
The 49ers one was miserable.
Last year.
That was awful.
49, you're right. That was horrible. That was the last time. I think that was the last time they played on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, they don't ever deserve it.
So he needs a redemption. That was also just I mean, I think, wasn't it the first play from scrimmage? Breda went 90 yards for a touchdown. I mean, that was as much on the defense as it wasn't. It was just a total beatdown. So
depressing.
I think that the Browns are certainly more prepared for the Ravens than they were against the 49ers, because they've seen the Ravens before, and the Ravens have beaten the brakes off of them before.
I just don't. As good as the Ravens and the Steelers started out, I don't think either of them, including the Ravens, are that team that they started out. I think the Browns have a lot of momentum going into the postseason, assuming they have a chance to make it. And I just don't see – I mean, the Ravens they have not fallen as far as the Steelers. The Steelers don't look like a football team. They can't run the football. They pass 55 times a game with Ben, who looks hobbled, who looks injured, and they get rid of the ball in a second. They can't even – so their defense is injured too, so they just don't look like the same football team as when they started out. The Ravens, I don't think to that extent, but they still don't – I mean, they're still not as good. And, for the thing that I'm, just getting juiced about tonight is that, yes, Browns could win Monday Night National TV in front of everybody. This could be another statement win for Baker Mayfield, for Nick Chubb, for Stefanski, for the Browns. But to be able to potentially eliminate a rival on a Monday Night Football game, one that took your football team and ran away with it to frickin' Baltimore. I think for me, if that doesn't motivate you, then you don't have a frickin' pulse. So I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting fired up, getting chills right here just thinking about that. Couldn't imagine being Baker or Nick Chubb or any of the guys on the field.
Yeah, I mean, this is the game. Like last week, I picked the game. You wanted to bring up my predictions. Last week, I picked against the Browns because I thought, okay, defense is struggling and Tennessee's playing well, and Derrick Henry is going to run all over him. Well, that didn't happen. Obviously, the Browns came out with their hair on fire. But the reason I picked against the Browns last week is because I thought, okay, they're going to put everything into this Ravens game, right? This is going to be the big one. Like, this is the one where they're going to be super, and I still think that's the key. Even though they won, I think maybe the fact that they won even pushes them more.
Sure.
Like everything you brought up, eliminating the Ravens in the postseason. That's a Monday Night Football rivalry game. Trying to get revenge from that first game that they lost. Everything is why this game is so big. And what's funny is that even if they lose, I don't think the Browns are out of anything. I think they're certainly going to still be in the playoff conversation. I mean, they'll probably end up 11-5, even if they lose this game and they lose to the Steelers. So I still think they beat the Giants and the Jets. So I don't think they should put a lot of pressure on themselves, but I think that they just need to be excited for this opportunity. Like, this is a massive opportunity, as you said, to show the national audience, to kick a team out of the playoffs from your own division, that same team that that rode from your city all the way to Baltimore. All of it just needs to come into play and gets them excited and juiced for this game.
That's what's crazy is that even if they lose this game and even if they lose in Week 17, very possible they finish 11-5 because of those teams in New York, which is crazy. Yep. I mean, you talk to so many Browns fans that were like, yeah, I would be so happy if we finished 7-9, 8-8. You hear it every year, 9-7. Well, the worst we can finish this year, obviously, is 9-7. It's not out. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to win their final 4 games and go 13-3. I'm not going to get that carried away because I got the homer bias thing. Right. But it's not a bad thing to say 11-5. 11-5 is very possible and probably will happen unless they. I think they're going to win tonight. I don't know, man. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
You don't like that. You don't like that Giants game.
I think 13-3 is the thing. I think it could be. That's
I think it could be too, but again, you got to just get through the night.
I think tonight's the toughest game of the year.
I think that's
tonight is the toughest game of the year. I think for the final 4 games, I think it's gonna be tougher than the Giants. Okay. I think it's gonna be tougher than the Steelers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I think it's just the biggest game. I don't know what the toughest would be. I don't know if the toughest was Pittsburgh or Baltimore the first week of the season or.
I'm just talking about this year. I'm just talking about this. I'm talking about the rest of the season. Final 4 games. I think this is the toughest one.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Cool.
Not even close.
All right, good.
Absolutely
I'm glad I'm not going on a limb
the biggest game.
All right.
No. I mean, the Jets and the Giants, the Browns should be favored in both of those games, probably pretty heavily. And then the Steelers game, you're probably going to know whether you're in the playoffs or not by that point.
So who knows? That might even be a tougher game if there's divisional implications at that point. But obviously, you got to win this game first. We've been kind of delaying it, but let's fuck it. Let's just go into the prediction right now. I'll say mine first because I think your predictions hold a little more weight. So we'll say yours after. They only hold weight when it's not a Browns pick. When it's a Browns pick, nobody cares. But when it's against the Browns, everybody cares. Right. So potentially
it's a lose-lose situation.
It for sure is, but that's just that when you're just that's what the media, man. It's just anything, man. It is a lose-lose. But God bless you.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna say I think it's gonna be a cold game. It's gonna be a little windy. I'm not looking forward to being outside. I'm looking forward to being inside. I think I'm going to be in a suite. I think it's a lot of running game, and I think when it comes down to it, Ravens defense, yes, is going to be better, but I think the Browns rushing attack is going to be better than the Ravens defense. I think the Browns rushing attack is going to be better than the Ravens rushing attack. I think Lamar is going to probably have to run a little bit. Maybe who knows? Cleveland is just an absolute nightmare to play football in. Hurricane-like weather. But I think the Browns are going to win. I'm going to say 27-20. I'm going to say that that's the score. It's not going to be a 30-point game, I think. I think Baker's going to be asked to do some stuff, and I think he's going to do a good job. He's not going to do too much, kind of like how he's done it this year. He's thrown 4 touchdown passes. Hell, he did it last week. But I don't think he's going to do that today. I think it's going to be the combination of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Do we know if Wyatt Teller's playing?
He is activated, so it looks like unless something at the bottom or at the last second has happened, he should be good to go.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
that
huge.
Obviously helps that rush offense.
That's huge. So that really helps the Browns' rushing offense. Obviously the secondary on the defensive side of things, that is the X factor, that is the wild card. I do think Nick Chubb is going to have a monster game because he's Nick Chubb, and also he posted on his Instagram story a photo of Batman. I think that is the most savage thing ever. Nick Chubb doesn't talk. Nick Chubb doesn't really do much other than play football. So the fact that he did that, I almost want to say the Browns are going to win by 3 touchdowns, but knowing better, I'm going to say the Browns win 27-20.
I think I love your prediction about the rush offense. I think that last week in Tennessee was all Baker. This week, I want to see him run the football and run it well. Like, there are certain times – I feel like the last couple games for the Browns, for whatever reason, like, I think the numbers have been there for Chubb and Hunt, but it just doesn't seem like they're dominating opponents the way that they did at the beginning of the season. Like, I think in the beginning of the season, they just would ground and pound you from the start to the finish. And, like, it kind of hasn't been that way. So I think I would like to see Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb go at it and just pound this defense into submission. So – with that said, my prediction for the paper was 35-31. I think it is going to be higher scoring.
Wow.
I think, this Browns defense and in favor of the Browns.
Right.
I just don't think this Browns defense, I still don't believe in them very much. I know that they have won games and they have bent but not broken, but that doesn't mean that that they don't allow points. They allowed a huge second half comeback in Tennessee last week. Obviously having Miles back is giant. Having Sione Takitaki back is big. Looks like Tedrick Thompson might play this week, which will help. But I don't have as much faith in that defense. So I do have faith in the Browns offense. I mean, they have so many weapons, and maybe it ends up being a lower scoring game because the Browns do run the ball and that clock runs out. But I think it's going to end up higher scoring. I think it's just going to be a high paced, high octane game.
We'll wind this down in a couple minutes. My only concern with the Browns and tonight, I'm not like, it's not like a week where I'm like, I don't know if there was ever a week where I was like, the Browns are 100% going to win this game or during watching it, is that it is a primetime game. It is a heavily weighted game. But, I mean, I thought the same thing last week with it, how important the game was, and they absolutely came out and kicked the shit out of the Titans. Yeah, they didn't figure out how to hold on to a lead very well, but they did enough in the first half to get the job done. My only concern is, do the Browns have enough? Like, are they going to be able to play well enough to – I mean, the Ravens are a good football team. Yeah, they're out of the playoffs. They're a playoff team besides what their record says. They're a playoff team. Are the Browns going to be able to play well 2 weeks in a row against playoff-like football teams?
I don't see – the second half, they did not play well. Like, that second half was embarrassing if you're a Browns fan.
Right.
So yes, you take the win because they played amazingly well in the first half. You don't think about that if you're a fan. But I think when you look at it this way, they were so bad in the second half. They gotta know that they gotta be better, and they gotta come out playing better. Like, they're not. I don't think they're riding on this high. Like, oh, we played a great game. No, you lost the second half 28-3 against Tennessee. So today they got to come out and play a full football game. They got to play 60 minutes. And last week they did an amazing job in that first half. Defensively, offensively, it was all great. But today you got to go and play 60 minutes. You're not going to have to. You cannot let up the way that you did in the second half against Baltimore or against Tennessee, or else you're going to lose.
Yeah. Oh, dude, oh my God, I'm so excited for tonight. I'm so excited. All right, Hayden, where?
I mean,
go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying, I know we're like in 2 hours. How bad is it for Monday nights though that like we gotta wait all day?
I know. At least when you wake up.
How bad?
Sundays.
We talked about the patience. Like, people don't have any patience. Well, today is testing the patience of Browns fans. We get it's just a long wait.
And like waiting another day. Like, you play on Sundays, waiting another day and having to go at night. It almost feels like a bye week. Like, that's how like long it is.
And it's right. And it's going to be twice in a row because Sunday Night Football next week. But at least it'll be a Sunday. And,
right. At least you got
you'll have a shorter turnaround from the Monday to Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, man. So
that'll be interesting too.
Before I sprint home to go get an Uber to the Browns game, you do a lot of stuff on TikTok. You got your Christmas stuff on Spotify and everywhere. Very talented, everybody. If you don't know, you must know. You gotta first off follow Hayden on TikTok. He takes all these requests. He's incredible modern Frank Sinatra, Michael Bublé voice, just very good. And he also has you have a Christmas album on whatever Spotify, iTunes, everywhere, right?
Yep. Yes.
So good. So good. You gotta get him.
Man.
He's
I appreciate that.
Get you a reporter. Get you a reporter that can sing. I tell you what. You know, that's what I'm talking about.
I appreciate that.
No problem, man. I'm hoping for a big
you.
win tonight. We'll definitely collab down the road for some.
Yeah, we got to get together. You know where to find me.
I do. I
know it'll be.
I'm the one that's ducking you. Apparently,
you're
time
everywhere.
you invite me to Topgolf, I'm out of town. So we'll do
whatever,
something.
or come to Crocker or whatever.
I know.
You're the as the CEO of Ohio. You have a very busy schedule. You're going to a Defiance, Alliance.
I'm going to all the Alliances.
To Marion.
Yeah.
You're going to the Alliances. You're going to Marion. You're going to Medina. You're going all over the place.
I'm going to Nazareth. I'm going everywhere.
I love it. Nazareth, I love that you're promoting these smaller towns because they're such great gems. I mean, listen, I am Cleveland to my core, but I love the small towns. Every small town has this charm to it, and I love how you're exploring them and giving them kind of that platform. That's an amazing thing to show people what they're missing in these kind of lesser known small towns in Ohio. It's beautiful.
I appreciate it, man. It's a lot of fun going these places, and the people are so nice. There are a lot of gems in Ohio for sure. There's a lot of cool places, so definitely recommend anybody. Just if you're bored, go search up some small towns, and it's a really good time. All right, well we'll get lunch sometime soon.
Go to your TikTok.
What's that?
I said go to your TikTok and see the videos.
It's true. Good point. Yeah, go to my TikTok, I guess, for that. We'll collab sometime soon. We'll do some TikToks. We gotta get some Christmas stuff up eventually. But
I'm ready.
Hey, and thanks for being a surprise co-host today, everybody. I think the Browns are gonna win 27-20. Hayden said in the paper 35-31. This has been the Yacht Club. This is Sir Yacht. This is Hayden Grove. Which way? That way. Yes, that way. It's different. All right, we'll see you at some point soon. Hayden will have you on again. But go Browns, and everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.